UNC. 40 years ago.
Is Pharaoh still existing? I see the poor resembling an Israelite, not being treated right, enslaved day and night. Oh, we just can't go on this way. We just can't go on this way. Please deliver us today. We just can't go on this way. We like the Israelites still in pain. We just can't go on this way. So send us another Moses again. We just can't go on this way. Oh, 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 oh. Lord, look around, you'll see the Pharaoh mentality ruling universally. Leaders promoting their ego, being a modern Pharaoh, tyrannies they manifest. We just can't go on this way. We just can't go on this way. Please deliver us today. We just can't go on this way. Time to make them oppressors pay. We just can't go on this way. So we children could see their way. We just can't go on this way. Oh, 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 oh. No, 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 no. The poor have to slave night and day for next to nothing pay, so they can't see their way. We don't enjoy equal facility like Pharaoh and company, brainwashing we say we free. We just can't go on this way. We just can't go on this way. Please deliver us today. We just can't go on this way. Time to make them oppressors pay. We just can't go on this way. So the children could see their way. We just can't go on this way. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, we just can't go on this way.
And of course, let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, people. It's In the Village with the Dark Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And of course, we come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. Let me bring in no other than Diana Waveney Benskin McDonald, boy.
Yeah, you have it wrong. You have it wrong.
What is it? Waveney Diana Benskin McDonald?
Yeah,
You like that? That way it's supposed to be?
I pay for the McDonald though. You say you have to go to the marriage bureau and pay for the marriage license. So.
Yeah. But I have all of them inside. They're all inside. Hey Tommy, let me say a special welcome to you as well. Welcome, Tom.
You see, I have all my army thing here.
Thanks for having me.
You come in a fighting mood.
Hi, Tommy,
but I want to know why you had to pay. Why didn't he pay?
What do you mean? Why didn't he pay?
Hey Diana, how you doing?
I use his money.
Yeah, why didn't he pay?
I use his money.
You take his money and pay. All right, okay.
But we both had to sign the marriage license.
All right.
That where this go on?
All right.
Why you all up in my Kool-Aid
but
anyway?
Let me say a special hello to.
I find it at the.
Go ahead, Tommy.
No. She said up in a Kool-Aid, but I find it looking tasty, so I make sure I take a sip.
Yeah, and then he had to pay alimony too. So.
Don't be ready for that, boy.
Okay, right. Yeah, that's TM. That it's got to be TMI.
I have on my army gear. I in a fighting mode here today. See my army greens.
What put you in such a fighting mood?
Huh?
What put you in such a fighting mood?
The way they treating Trinbagonians are vex. Yeah, vex.
Well,
Yeah,
you're gonna be vexed for a long time, Storm.
Yeah, people standing up at licensing. My friend, I just follow him on social media. A fella named Jason Voyez. He just dropped the F-bomb in his lives, but you know, just listen to him. Man, this poor fella going to do some business at licensing office. They can't find any paperwork, right? That people stand outside in the sun, hot, burning sun. You know, Trinidadians say it, right? Then no, and licensing office shut down for everybody going to lunch the same time.
Oh well.
You had an
Welcome to
appointment?
sweet Trinidad.
You had an appointment?
Well, he was in the line and he ended up inside, so I assume so.
You had an appointment.
I'm like, what? Everybody going to lunch the same time? What kind of madness is that?
The Muzzy was giving us appointments.
Trinidad.
Man had an appointment. He had an appointment. We say a special hello. Rose was first in tonight. Rose coming at 6:04, boy. Rose will make you no joke, boy.
Yeah.
Rose inside early. Rose, welcome.
Welcome to the village, Rose.
See we get Lana back, boy. Hi, Lana.
Lana inside. You have to do something for Lana too. Yes, we will get that done. 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 inside.
Welcome, Lana. Welcome.
Yeah. 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. Richie inside. Richie, welcome.
Hi, Cash.
Yeah. Albert Montano inside. Welcome. Vonnie
Hey,
Roberts
Mr.
inside.
Montano.
You know, Vonnie Roberts inside. Vonnie, welcome. But you know, we have the guy from Tima joining us tonight, and we're supposed to have Deon Lendore, who was a member of the 4x400 relay team that made it to the final in the World Championship. The Olympics just went by, and it's curious. I don't know if any radio stations or any TV station interview any of them guys since the Olympic finish. I wonder why, boy.
Because they're minding the business. They ain't meddling at all.
the poet, what? You know, the poet, nice day. I like that one, you know. They're minding the business. They're not meddling at all. Yeah. You're going clear with that day. You're going clear with that day, DB. You're not going to see DB, yeah, man? DB, you're going clear with that one. You know, I want to find out.
Yeah, boy, they're not meddling at all. So.
They ain't meddling at all.
Yes, so nobody want to interview them at all.
Yeah, I see none of them people in the news, nothing, no, boy. I said, but what is this going on, boy?
Answer me, I have a question. Answer me, I have a question from Mr. Montano.
Yeah, I see Albert question, you know.
What's Albert question? Well, Albert question is, let me see what his question is. PNM supporter, do you believe you can change it?
Well, look at it this way. Look at it this way. Les Brown says, impossible also spells I am possible. Let me repeat that. Les Brown says, impossible also spells I am possible. That's how I go answer that, Albert.
Yeah,
Impossible,
that's a good way to say it.
Okay.
yeah, also spells I am possible.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Because look at it this
Yeah.
way. I mean, and that's how I just look at things. Yeah? In 1978, when I came to this country and I went to Seton Hall University on a track and field scholarship, right? There were 7 athletes that came in to Seton Hall University, the half milers. I was one of the half milers. And I was lucky number 7. I was the slowest of the slowest. I was so slow. If you go on the track now, the track back in 1978, you will still see me going around the track.
Oh God!
Hello, Rose. Hello, Rose.
No.
That's how slow I was, right? Very, very slow. But I always used to tell myself, your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. In September 1978, I was lucky number 7 on the team, dead last, the slowest half miler, right? And even if you throw molasses, I was still slower than molasses.
Oh
Molasses had me, right?
But
There
you,
used to be a fable about the tortoise and the deer, the tortoise and the deer, or the tortoise and what? Remember that
Tortoise
fable
and
from
the
back then?
hare.
And
Tortoise
here,
and the hare.
yeah, I say deer, yeah, the deer.
the
I
deer
choke
here.
it. Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
And
actually,
mm,
the race is not for the swiftest.
correct is right. In September of 1978, I was number 7. In January 1979, I was number 1.
Yeah.
And not only that,
Endurance.
things get so good.
Endurance.
The head
That's what
coach named me captain of the track team. Little black boy from 𝗬𝗂𝗲𝗏.
So you went from being molasses going up a hill
Congrats.
to a marble going down a hill.
Correct is right, DB.
He was rolling it. He was rolling down the mountain.
Yeah, rolling down the mountain, boy. Albert, boy, I don't want to give you a little thing, but I'll give you a little story. You see, Albert, in life, boy, in life, sometimes the easiest thing to do is to pick up your marbles and go home, eh? And sometimes, boy, you gotta stay the course and see what you can change. Troy Smith, welcome.
Oh boy.
Yes.
When he said the party changed from a block party.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. It have morphed. Things go morph, man. Troy Smith, good evening as well. Yeah, things go morph. You see, I mean, I could pick up my marbles and go home. Yeah, I could do that. Many people would like to pick up their marbles and go home. And Albert, you see that point you're raising there? I have raised that point there. Albert Montano says Trinidad is flooding since I can remember. That is 1950. The St. Joseph Bridge was washed away. No refrigerator, stove, chair, nothing in the river but flood. Right? And look, R5 coming, boy. R5, welcome.
Oh boy.
R5, welcome, boy. R5, you waiting for your cousin, Force Riper. Yeah. Albert Montano, I raised that point there. I said, well, look at this, boy. I left Trinidad in 1978. And anybody know the East Dry River? The East Dry River used to overflow its bank. Anytime you get a swelter of rain, right? It overflows its bank. That's 1978. Right? Almost 44 years, now 1977. Almost 44 years later, the East Dry River still overflowing its bank.
But Anselm, unfortunately, based on the forecasts that are up ahead for the next 10 years, it's going to get a whole lot worse. It's going to get a whole lot worse because they're saying that the oceans are going to be, in 20 years, the oceans are going to be 10 feet higher.
But
the sea levels are going to be 10 feet higher.
Yeah, but Tommy, and what we want to do, right? There's blame to go around for everybody. We want to blame the people who they say throwing the fridge in the river, or they're throwing the garbage in the river, or they're throwing all these things in the river. Yeah, them is to blame too. Them is to blame too.
But
Right?
all the islands have the problem. The whole region has the problem. Look at Jamaica. You saw what's going on in Jamaica?
Yeah. We had a video there. We had a video what's going on in Jamaica. Yeah.
Guyana, Jamaica, St. Vincent. The whole region is gonna have the same problem. You know what? There's never been a better time for us to band together. There has never been a better time than now for us to band together.
Over a
Because
single
with United, we're
important
gonna
issue.
stand divided.
We're gonna flood.
United, we're gonna stand divided. We're gonna fall flat on our faces.
Yeah. I think this is Jamaica. Yeah.
Flat on our faces.
This is Jamaica. This is Jamaica.
Look on China Garden, on China River, water shoot like gunshot. Watch it. Let me can't get away that way. Walk around and video and shoot and send up and get. Just let me get little pay, little chop hands, you know, the little dollars there. Then chop hands, then penny there, you know. Yeah. Walk here on the road, this coming water, take it over, you know. Yeah, go back a zoo now, watch out now. The road, if you got a zoo, this is water like crazy. Yeah, so
You see, and this is what I say, right? This is what I say, right? A few years ago, Canarsie, they had a I think it was a hurricane, boy. Whatever they had a hurricane, I think. And Canarsie flooded, but people lost their house.
Ivan or something like that.
And Loister.
Yeah. And people lost their house. They lost all kind of things due to flooding, right? The New York says, you know what? We cannot have this in New York, right? They build a kind of a dam in Canarsie, whereas at any time that river reaches a certain height, they take the water out of the river and store it in sort of a dam that hold millions and millions of gallons of water. Millions and millions of gallons. I brought people to look at that, and I tell them, I said, look, all the solution here to the problem of flooding in Trinidad and Tobago. That was a few years now, right? You think they listen? When is the last time you Canarsie flood? And you know another excuse that we use, and I hear people saying, they say, oh yes, there are places right now in the United States that are flooding, right? But it used to be worse. And Louisiana used to have it. Remember when Louisiana had that big, what was that one boy in Louisiana? Remember that one?
Katrina.
Boy, it was bad down there. Then people fix the thing, boy. They fix it. Listen to this. We spent $500 million to renovate the Red House. $500 million, right? And Port of Spain still flooding. In order for you to get to the Red House, you had to walk through all that water.
Yep.
For you to leave the Red House, you had to walk through all that water.
Or take a boat.
What are you really doing, boy? Where's our priorities? Where's our priorities? Right? What are we prioritizing in Trinidad and Tobago?
And answer them. Is Trinidad prepared for a real disaster?
No. I don't think so.
Because if this rainfall, and you see, a guy died from a landslide, slip, and it killed him, the mud, whatever. We saw a video where the woman, his common law wife, was speaking about him being trapped by the mud or the debris. I mean, year after year. And it is so, the weatherman predicts we're going to have riverine or inclement weather or whatever. Hello,
You know,
ding,
but
ding, ding.
you know what's gonna happen? There are so many unplanned and, should I say, shaky or shady or flimsy developments that have taken place as far as housing is concerned. Inclement weather is gonna wreak havoc on a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
So what's gonna have to happen is that we're gonna have to update our structures. We're gonna have to update our structures. I don't know where the people are gonna get the money from. Maybe uh, the administrations or administrations are gonna have to find a way to help people update their living facilities, because it's not gonna get better. We know that
Right.
based on the forecast of the global warming and the effects on the environment. So
Dana,
Hmm?
go ahead, sorry. Frank say good night, Dana, my lover.
Oh Lord.
Sorry, go ahead, sorry.
that's a good thing, Diana. Somebody loves you.
Gary, welcome.
Hey, how you guys
Oh,
doing?
God.
Hey,
Phantom,
Phantom.
Phantom,
We
help,
inside.
Phantom.
We inside. Help. We had to play that song. Vonnie Roberts is my partner, you know. Yeah, Vonnie Roberts there. And so what you are saying, there was actually no progress from the time you left Trinidad. PNM governed the country for close to 50 years. Well, Vonnie, if you want to read into it that due to the dry river still overflowing its bank is no progress, right? Then if there are many other things that have been done, you see, with specific things in Trinidad and Tobago, there have been no progress. None. Absolutely zero. Right? We can look at Laventille as an example. Another example. There's been absolutely no progress with Laventille. Zero. Not. Nada. Right? And these things I will admit. But I wouldn't say there has been no progress. None. And many people say there have been no progress. So when you say no progress, you lose some credibility when you say no progress, right? Yes, that is a big problem that should have been solved long time ago. And to me, what seems to be happening is that they are putting their priorities in the wrong places.
Town and country not doing their job. That's right, Albert Montano. Because if people
Yeah,
are allowed to
Correct.
just
That is
chop
correct.
down
That
and
is
build
correct,
correct
any
Miss.
is
which
right.
way, yep.
Yeah, correct is right. Curtis
Right.
Manchester, welcome. Ray Stout, welcome.
Lavatel get
Ah,
a pool, so how they could say they're in progress?
when they're hungry, they go and drink water.
Ah,
When they're hungry,
ooh.
you go down by the pool and drink water. Nadia, welcome. Frank say all the flooding coming from cutting. Yeah, Frank. No joke. All they going up in the mountains, all they want to build things high up. All they want to, like if it's New York calling us to no New Jersey, all they want to go up, all they want to go up in the suburbs, all the way up in the hills. You know? Yeah, Curtis Manchester boy, me true market
But
partner boy.
there's nothing
Welcome.
But
wrong
the
with
truth,
going up in the hills, but
yeah,
you have
right.
to
The truth be
prepare
told,
the
you're right.
site.
The truth be told, is not what you do, it's how you do it.
Okay.
It's how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you do it right, you wouldn't get the ill effects.
There's certain
Right.
preparation has to be done with the site. You don't just go and throw out a throw house there and grade down
Correct.
land, and you have prepared no drains,
I
and
agree.
you want to reinforce the walls, and and stuff like
But
that.
but
Retain. Yep, you had to retain all the walls properly.
Gary and Tommy and we live in Jersey, right? Let me tell you this, if I had to
Yeah.
renovate my basement here in New Jersey, I renovating our basement here. When we had to renovate the basement, yeah, what we had again? We had to get a permit for plumbing. We had to get a permit for electrical. We had to get a permit for sheetrock, right? We had to get a permit for the building, right? Now, when you come and you put up all the thing for the electrical, the inspector will come back and inspect it, right? The plumbing inspector will come and inspect it. The buildings inspector will come and inspect it. You know how much inspection has to go before you could complete that work? In Trinidad, people don't just chop things over they want. They just do what they want. right? I mean, here, if you want, you could try and hide and do your stuff undercover, right? But if the catches are finding you behind, you know, money you have to pay. I don't know what it's like in Connecticut, but here I know that you had to get permit after permit after permit. You know,
Same thing.
I want to say it's fet after fet after fet. It's permit after permit after permit after permit.
Same thing.
That's structure.
Structure. But listen to this, if you try to put that in China, you know what I'm going to say? What you look for all these permit for in my house? Eh? If I renovate in my house, I should be able to do what I want in my house. Eh?
But for
All I
that,
want to do is to bleed people for money. It's money all I want to make over people. That's what I could say. Right?
but for that, you could bribe an inspector to turn his eye.
Correct.
Corruption.
Corruption
That's right for me.
and abuse of power.
Yeah.
Both. That's in order today when it comes to our society. I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
And somebody will cut corners when it comes to the structural integrity of whatever it is you're putting up.
But Diana, you what happened? Them fellas doing our work here, right? And the fella put some light switches and outlets. They were supposed to be 6 feet apart or something like that. Something. Well, we don't know. When the inspector come, inspector failed it, yes. he said, nah. He said, let's see all of them. You know what they're going to do? They're going to do the whole thing over.
That's right.
The whole thing, they fail them, boy. And when they fail them, it's not our back. It's just that the contractor to do more work.
More cost.
It's structure. Structure. And we need that in Trinidad and Tobago. But you see, when you try to put structure, the people go rebel. Look at property tax. People don't want a property tax in Trinidad and Tobago.
But they'll go abroad and pay it, though.
Yeah, but they don't want property tax. Rose, let me say hello to your daughter, Sharon and Patel. So we say good night to them as well.
I said hello to them.
Yeah. Albert Montano said, but the big boys in Trinidad don't walk in the flood. No, they drive them Mercedes-Benz through the flood.
Yep.
Or the BMW. Half-right say, few years when I was in Trinidad, I find Port of Spain be flooding real quick. With this, I'm telling you, slightest rain is flood, boy. Slightest rain. But you know, every time there's a fall in Trinidad, somebody making money, you know.
I'll tell you, one year I was visiting, and I was in Port of Spain, and I saw the water, I have on my sandals, and the water come. I said, what? I grab a taxi, man. I said, hey, come, get me to Tunapuna quick. Don't pick up nobody. I paid $300, $30 to get me out of Port of Spain, yeah? Yep. I used my common sense and get out of town, boy. I didn't like the way that water was looking.
But I tell you, I tell you one thing though, Diana. That taxi man went straight home after that. He done work for the day.
Yep, I gave $300 to take me to the product. Yeah. Because I didn't like what was coming. The water was gushing too far, and it was covering my feet by the time. I said, "Woo!" It didn't reach past my ankle.
Yeah.
But I said, "Lord, let me get out of here."
Yeah. Lana says, if something's not done about flooding, Trinidad and Tobago be next Venice. Lana, I saw your wood manhole covers, you know. I did. We go deal with that video, Lana. Don't worry. Albert Montano says not a flimsy development.
When they put the metal
job. Go ahead, Tommy.
When they put the metal manhole covers, the recyclers are stealing it.
Well,
yes, sir.
Well, listen, they could put like a 50-pound weight in it.
And put it in there.
Yeah, something. About 25-pound weight in it. When they go and lift it up, they get Gori. All remember Gori? Remember Gori? They get Gori.
But let me tell you something, right?
But they go find a way to separate it.
You see that property tax?
Yeah, they go bring high up trucks.
They come in to measure we house and they measure how much wood and how much this you have and that. For my part, is war.
Oh Lord.
Because of the bullshit that we went through over the years to put up on that PNM.
Oh Lord.
Okay? I say, I'm calling every Tom, Dick, and Harry to go to war on them on this property tax. Them coming to
But there's a
valuate
Gary,
your
but there's a
house for how
sensible
much
way
you're
to
going
do
to
it.
rent it for. So if your
Gary,
husband there and leave you
property
there with the
tax.
house that he built for, right?
Yeah.
And you can't pay that tax, like we just seen America here, government take it.
Hmm.
We
But
already
Gary,
heard about allegedly that Wasa has been taking some people property for payment, non-payment, right?
That ain't good.
Funny Robert says big trees growing in the driveway. No joking,
you
they used to
know,
play football in the driveway, you know. Well,
Oh
you know, there is
God.
that tournament in the driveway in Port of Spain. Big tournament, you know. And the big canal in the middle and nobody don't get injured.
Oh.
Think about that now, canal in the middle. Nobody getting injured. Big tournament, boy. Trees growing there now.
but no, we're talking about property tax. I always say it's not what you do, it's how you do it. It's how these guys going about doing it that is problematic. Yes, you got to pay something, but you can't hurt people. And there are special circumstances. For example, like you said, if you're a senior and you don't have an income, you should be allowed to get an exemption of sorts. There are ways to do things.
But
I
Tommy, we
mean,
have a
you
different
don't have to.
structure. In America, you pay for the schools and the police and these various things under that structure. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have a structure where the government takes it through income tax and the revenue of the country, and they run the affairs that way. So it's a totally
Mhm.
different structure. So there is no comparison. You have to make a total structure change if you go in that direction. But I'm totally
So
against this thing because I have seen where the direction this government going did. They refuse to give us accountability how they're spending the money in the first place. They have wasted so much of money that they refuse to give us an account. We have seen billions spent on infrastructure by the Ministry of Works, and today we can't see a good infrastructure to prevent flooding. They refuse to dredge and clean the rivers. They refuse to provide water retention and water dams where you can retain that water for the dry season. We got people suffering for water right through the year, but they refuse to work on the infrastructure. Every time they start a project, is cost overrun. It start for $10,000, 10,000, and it gone for $500,000 before you know it. All right, and every time they can Harry getting the payoff. So there is no management of the funds. Number
But Gary,
one,
that's every party in Trinidad. That's just another one party.
yeah,
That's
but
that,
I am
that
calling
the
all the
modus
party, but what
operandi
I'm
for
saying here
everybody.
is, but
but
you would have said that, but UNC was there one term in between and one term there before, and they came
No,
up
but
with a structure.
I no, I never said the UNC. No, I said that's the modus
What I'm saying,
operandi for every
but
party that's in
how
power.
many
I
times,
never said
how many terms,
UNC.
but how many other terms
Oh.
did any other party have? By the time they come and try to get adjusted, what they're trying to deal with is because time up. So the structure has been set by the PNM.
yeah, but we can't. We have to have some kind of order when it comes to taxation. I mean, I'm not against building and land taxes, but it has to be reasonable. It has to be reasonable. It cannot be outrageous. We cannot just say no tax, axi tax, zero tax, and then we want this done and that done.
Tommy, I'll be honest with you. I don't think that in Trinidad and Tobago, hey, Raystel says yo handsome. Raystel, yo, I think he might be commenting on something that when he say yo handsome, or he just shouting him out. Huh?
Shouting, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Raystel, yo. Listen, I don't think Trinidad and Tobago as a society is ready for property tax.
Hmm.
I just don't feel so. I think Trinidadians who have come to America and have acquired properties have no problem paying property tax.
But at home, it's a problem.
It's always a problem. You know what that's like, Tommy? Think about this, right? in Trinidad and Tobago, right? When rain, I let rain fall. You know, we just say rain fall, but you know, it's like, you know, it's raining, but we just say rain fall. You know, when it's raining, right? A Trinidadian will stay home and say, boy, not me now, boy. That raining, boy. Too much rain going on all day, right? That rain now, boy. That same Trinidadian will jump on a car flight, reach John F. Kennedy Airport, right? And next day after go to work, will get up 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. with 12 inches of snow outside and go to work. Go and take a bus or take a train and go to work. And that same Trinidad will complain about that little rain. Boy, that boy, it raining, boy. Or the sun too hot today, boy. What's wrong with you? Sun hot today. They go to work in a snowstorm. Why is that? Ask yourself, why is that?
But
Why
I
do you feel that people in the chat? Why do you think that? Why is that? Why is that?
Right now,
Why is that?
that I plan to go with war, full force against the PNM and this property tax, based on how they treated us in the country and the conditions my parents had to build their home from. Is war.
Guess what? The conditions are the same for everybody because my parents had challenges also. I mean, it's the same for everybody.
Robert says after 3 years, the government still can't select a COP. They have Gary as the assistant cop. Why wait so long? I thought.
Oh boy.
No, they have him. They have him.
That's
acting.
temporarily. That's temporarily until they.
But I thought they select him as a commissioner of police.
He is. He is. But his contract is over.
Now. Since his contract is over, he's assistant now.
He's acting.
He's acting now. But he's not assistant. He's not the assistant COP.
He's acting until they renew his contract.
Yeah, but he was never the assistant COP until.
No, he was a commissioner.
I thought he was always since he had a contract to be a commissioner of police. I didn't know.
That's correct. But what happens? The contract has expired, so he has to act until they either reassign him or assign somebody else.
Yeah.
And that will be done in the parliament. That will be done in the parliament when they go back in September. Not right now.
That's right.
Albert Montano said I was in council in St. George's East and Santa Rosa Heights. Won the council to repair the sewage treatment plant after only 5 years. I alone stood up and said, no way. Yeah. Bonnie Robert says, bad government. Ray still said, Trini people like it so. Nadia said, that's not exactly. You know
I
what I mean?
agree. They like it so.
Yeah. You know, yeah. And listen to this, when the same people say they don't want property tax, right? Then they want the road fixed, they want the garbage pickup, they want everything done, right? When there are certain things that can be done. For example, Gary, you know this too, Tommy, you know this, and Diana, you know this. In our community, every Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, the garbage people come to pick up the garbage.
Like clockwork.
Like clockwork. We have to pay for that. That's not free. That ain't free. We have to pay for that.
Well, and some the people at Trinidad and Tobago paying through the tax dollars a different structure.
What tax dollars, Gary? Which tax dollars?
So you're not paying income tax in Trinidad and Tobago?
But we paying income tax here too.
They tax you at a higher level in Trinidad is a higher percentage.
I would like to know what's the percentage of tax.
But not just that. Look how many people work for themselves and don't pay taxes. They evade paying taxes.
But that's right too.
There's a high percentage of people who don't pay taxes.
We don't pay taxes.
But that's the government fault. But I'm telling you,
Gary, you see, Gary, if the government don't try to collect them taxes now, you know what they will say? Oh, the government wicked and evil.
They're wicked and they're bad, they're evil.
Poor people. The man just trying to make a living. Oh God, only leave them people alone.
No, they better don't income that way because
you see?
People through,
they can't win.
Yeah. The discipline of each Trinidadian is poor. Very poor.
They can't win. You cannot win.
But the silly thing about my problem is the government refuse, especially this PNN government, refuse to give accountability on spending. They don't even want to explain to the opposition or the people. You can't, especially this attitude is you can't ask no question. You get both.
Let me ask you something. So when they do a budget, they don't outline what goes where and what should be done and what their plans are.
Well, we're gonna have to ask some politicians that later. But what I'm saying to you is the accountability. Okay, say 125 million for Ministry of Works, right? We ain't getting no accountability how that 125 million spent. All we know the 125 million went that way, right? So then you're seeing billions of dollars for national security, and then the police tell they have no car to come. If you have a car, come pick them up. Right? We seeing people calling for help all the time. You can't get ambulance. You can't get police to respond. The fisherman can't get no response from the Coast Guard. The boat break down. There are no gas. I mean, all these kind of things. So lack of accountability and government want more money. More money.
But Vonnie Roberts makes a good point that we are paying road tax at the pump. And you see the condition of our roads is the worst in all my life. That's a very good point.
Yeah, I'm going back to try to get to read some of these things there. So Nadia says this set of government people don't care about poor people suffering. Right? Lana says, what about all the manhole covers the police hold the culprits with? Where is it? In the police station? Careful, rats need that too. Yeah, that's stealing rats too. That rats does eat stealing. Ellis says, Ellis, welcome, partner. Welcome. Ellis says, good evening, beautiful people. Wall Street, most people don't have a problem paying property tax. We don't. The issue is transparency with our tax dollars. We pay road tax every day and look at our roads.
Right. You know,
they pay road tax. They pay. How do they collect the road tax? Ellis, how do they collect the road tax? I'm just asking.
To the gas station pumps.
To the gas pumps, yeah.
To the gas pump? Okay, all right. Raystel said, to be honest, Manon and Pandey have the issues, but I'm going to do better job than...
You know, and Slim, Diana, and Gary, I want to say this one more time. I've said it time and again, and for years I've been saying it. The problems in the Caribbean, especially in Trinidad, are going to not get better because of the systems that they're working with. The systems allow them to play the fool. We need an overarching system or governance that would hold them accountable and would keep their feet to the fire and would keep them honest. We need, it sounds dated, but we need a federation now more than ever. But I know that those who hold power right now, they don't want nothing to disturb that. So what has to happen is that we're going to have to focus on the youth, on the children, on the young people to show them the benefits of having a federated system in the Caribbean that will protect their future and would hold all those who have power accountable. Because what we have is a bunch of kings on this hill, on that hill, on the other hill, and they're doing what they want down in the valley. That's how I see it.
Lana says, charge people for street lighting, maintaining road and waterways, but don't charge people for house and land. That is not government owned.
We need new system. We need a system to totally be revamped. We look. It's so imperative that we get these things done, because even with the flooding, all the other issues that we are facing, if we have an overarching system, we can get more holistic solutions for our issues.
Well, Ellis, what Ellis says, right? You take a loan of $1 million to buy a house, pay back the land 200% on a loan, and still pay property tax. How could that be right? Well, Ellis, in the United States of America, right? Anywhere you go, even if you own a condominium, right? Don't you have to pay taxes in a condominium too?
Yes.
Huh? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you could own a co-op, you have to pay taxes.
Yep.
Right? And
And
those taxes
and
go back.
fees
Yes. And those
and
taxes
maintenance
go back.
fees.
And those taxes go back into the community to spend on
Pay,
schools, spend on
pay,
roads,
paying the police officers
police
and all kinds of
officers,
stuff. Yep.
all kind
Clean
of stuff that goes
removal of
back to.
snow. I can use myself as an example. I live in a condominium complex, and my maintenance fees goes towards cleaning the snow. Because I could have choose to buy a house, but to clean the snow, me and neighbor, and I don't want to be interacting with strange people I really don't know. So they clean the snow. I dump my garbage in a dumpster. The truck come and take the dumpster for everybody dumps their garbage in there and takes the dumpster Tuesdays and Thursdays. Right? They cut the grass. It's easier for me. As you get older, you don't want these things to be contending with. And the taxes you pay the police officer, the postman, the school, you maintain the schools, the roads. Gotta pay your taxes.
Yeah, I don't think Trinidad is a society that they want to pay any tax. You remember when value-added tax came in? What was the big uproar regarding value-added tax? It was a big uproar in Trinidad and Tobago, right?
That was Robinson's demise.
Yep. Let me say good night to Brittany. Brittany, welcome. One of the says no accountability and you can't get no answer when asked. Troy Smith say, answer them. How they say NGC have no money? Where did it come from now? Well, they take a loan.
As long as the system remain the same, it will be more the same. So it's up to the people if they want change, they want real change, and they want accountability, and they want something to happen that makes good sense. They're going to do the right thing, which is from the bottom up, force the change.
Yeah. Marissa, welcome. Gary, you back inside. Marissa,
like I
welcome.
said, it's a different structure. And I have fought against it here in the US because I think it should be a state and city tax so that you don't tax the people who's not working. Because I had a lot of people when I ran for election here that cried out to me that they are not able to, and they're about to lose the home. I've been through that with the voters here. So I understand the pain and suffering, and I don't see it as something that is justified. You can't get blood from stone. A person is not working, you end up losing your home. So I think there should be a structural change here in the US where you take a state and city tax. So it's all remains under income tax. You're working, you pay. You're not working, you don't pay. How you expect a person who's not working to keep paying?
But Gary, you just made a good point. Here we pay state tax, city tax, and federal tax. 3 levels of taxation. 3 levels of taxation we pay here. And nobody can do anything about it. You have to pay the taxes and either we tease and hush them out.
That's correct, man.
Yeah, in the US, instead of the property tax, they should shift it to a city tax, a residential tax, so that you're not taxing the unemployed or the senior citizen, and they don't fall in that category of losing the home. So that was my proposal.
Am I correct in saying that when you're a resident and not a citizen, you pay more taxes?
No, I don't think so.
Income taxes? No?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, I thought when
it's one system.
I thought when you're a resident and you file your taxes like your green card holder versus a citizen, you paid more.
It don't matter how much money you make.
How much money you make and
it's how much money you're making.
How much exemptions you have and so.
Even when you're retired, it's how much money you're making.
Okay.
You see, think about this, right? Don't pay a property tax now in this country. Don't pay a property tax.
They'll put a lien against it.
They'll come and take your house, boy. They'll come and take your house.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Put a lien against it.
But listener, let me tell you this, but in this country, I believe property tax is a racket. I
Well,
believe it's a.
I have my it's something else, Anselm. I think it's ridiculous in some areas, especially where you're living. The taxes up
Yeah.
there are astronomical. But then again, they don't have any industry to offset the
No
expenditures of the
commercial, right?
city.
No commercial. But listen to this,
But
right?
where,
Listen to this.
mhm.
Yeah, go ahead, Tommy.
But in the cities, like for example, in my city here, we have all these different industries and
Radables,
tax
what they call
tax
radables. Radables.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, readables. We have the port, we have the airport, we have the big companies, the big insurance companies, and so on and so forth. So the taxes are more reasonable.
But, all right. Before Ellis says PNM and UNC is one party. The only difference is one does thief and the other one doesn't know when to stop thief.
Oh
Oh Lord.
Lord.
Oh no, no, no.
And
Oh
and
no.
the same way he knows
What is
about that,
wrong?
we need to
Oh
have somebody
no.
who bigger than them to put them in check.
Oh no. That's why I
But,
said they have to have an independent body to audit all their doings,
But
whoever
who
is the
appointing
incumbent.
the is the parties
You
appointing the bodies always
No, we're
well,
not.
you
or the
can't have
policy
Well,
themselves?
no,
right, you can't
no,
have the fox.
that need to be done by some outside source or something. Like how in the United States you have checks and balances in place.
Yeah, because we have a
Where
federal system. When the state play
right,
the fool, the feds coming for you. That's why I'm
mm-hmm,
saying that in the Caribbean we need
a
A
federal,
true Caribbean
mm-hmm,
unity with a federal system or a
mm-hmm,
federated system or a federation, however you want to call it, and stop playing the fool. CARICOM is a
mm-hmm,
joke. CARICOM is a
mm-hmm,
joke. We need one currency for the entire region, one passport, one economy, overarching economy. Each state can have an economy, but we need one overall system that
mm,
everybody is accountable to. Come on,
mm,
it's look at Europe, for example. A lot of people in Europe don't like each other. They don't even speak the same language. How many countries? But they have the EU. In the United States, people from the south don't like people from the north. People from the west don't like people from the east. This, that, the
mm-hmm,
other thing. They talk differently. They have different accents. But guess what? We have one system, and everybody
mm-hmm.
works with the system. They have no
Yep.
choice. They're proud to say, "I'm American." Hey,
Mm-hmm.
come on, you should be proud to say I'm Caribbean, and we have one system, one currency, one overarching economy. Come on,
Yep.
yeah. Ray still
Mm-hmm.
say Ray still
it's
says
time.
I does only stay when rain falling plenty. Uh,
mm.
Hmm.
oh God.
Well, I feel not.
But
What if
I
he
had
nuts
this one
inside?
employee.
Yeah.
I had this one.
Mm.
Yeah, I had this one
Go ahead,
employee
Tommy.
when it's raining used to say to me, "Boss, it's weather for 20." I had this one employee when it's raining used to say to me, "Boss, it's weather for 20 days, clothes or no clothes. I can't work."
Well,
I tell
Mm.
you,
Nobody ain't get
Miami
that one.
Jesus disagrees with having. We didn't say one nationality for the Caribbean. We're talking about one passport, like just a passport,
yeah,
which allows you to go in and out of each island, like a Caribbean passport. Like we have one passport for the United States. We could go into each different state. You
yeah.
understand what I'm saying? But we're not telling you to lose. You lose you'll have your birthplace and whatnot, but you can go up and down into the Caribbean and trade and live and visit and stuff. That would iron out a lot of stuff. That's what we're
That
saying. Not yeah.
Diana,
That's
all these
right.
other Caribbean islands only wanted we money. All right?
Oh
And the minute
Lord.
they get a chance, they start talking we.
You see, I
Listen, you
did it.
see, all we ever look,
You see.
always look at the glass half empty instead of half
Mm,
full. There would always be issues, but guess what? The benefits will so far outweigh the issues or the problems that you would wonder why you hadn't done that long ago. You see, if you keep looking for problems and you keep looking at the glasses, like I say, half empty, you would never see the positive and the benefits. Come on,
There has
we
to be
need to
some kind of
wake up and
understanding. There has to be some kind of understanding
in this time
with
it's
But
the Caribbean.
in
Gary, look. Speaking from the platform from which I speak, having been born in Trinidad to Barbadian parents, right? It would be, and I was able to, parlay between the two island. It was a benefit for me. You see what I'm saying? So if the whole Caribbean opened up that kind of way, and people were able to just apply different places for jobs without all the immigration
Encumbrance,
hurdles
the
and
encumbrances.
stuff, the encumbrances and stuff. Maybe it would try it for a little. It would alleviate a lot of stuff, job opportunities, and the one currency, and perhaps unity. That's a measure of
No
unity.
question.
That's a measure of
The
unity.
EU is a
I
perfect
think
example. The EU is a perfect
that's a
example. They
measure.
speak different languages. They are different. They don't like this one, don't like that one, and the other. But guess what? They have the EU. They have the EU currency
One
that now
currency.
that they are forced with, that they are a force in the world with it. Before when they were divided, they weren't as effective as they currently are. Come on, what are we? Come on, man. I'm
Yeah,
fed up
because
of these
when you visit
so-called.
UK, you meet people that work in the hotel industries and different industries from the Ukraine, from Croatia, from different
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
vice versa.
Mhm.
Everybody works from different places, and it's good.
It's a synergy. It's more of a
Too
So
much
synergy.
fear.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Too much fear.
yeah,
But
that
guess what? Our leaders are the problem.
yeah, that's
They wouldn't
Correct.
educate
xenophobia.
the masses. They would
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
educate the masses as to what benefits and how much the benefits outweigh the drawbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's what has to happen.
let everybody flow in between. They want teachers here. And think about all the things you can teach each other. You learn more about Dominica. You learn more. And you know what, too? What? I, I look at the situation in Haiti, right? Look at the French side of Canada, Quebec. Now, I read a
Hmm.
lot and I come across a literature where it says that their population is aging, right? And they need to, fill in that working population to pay, the taxes and stuff. Why can't they just, bring people from Haiti? They already speak the language and then, train them in certain jobs and alleviate the situation there. I don't know what are the hurdles in the world that stop leaders from alleviating the impoverished situations across the world. What is blocking them? What is blocking them but
Egos,
xenophobia and ego? Yep,
ego.
approaching the top of the hour, Anselm.
Um,
I
I
think
want to
there are
play this
two
before we
ways in
do.
which people are controlled. First of all, frighten people, and secondly, demoralize them. An educated, healthy, and confident nation is harder to govern. And I think there's an element in the thinking of some people. We don't want people to be educated, healthy, and confident because they would get out of control. The top 1% of the world's population own 80% of the world's wealth. It's incredible that people put up with it, but they're poor, they're demoralized, they're frightened, and therefore they think perhaps the safest thing to do is take orders and hope for the best.
Of course, it's in the village with the dark triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. We're going to go for a quick station identification, and we'll be right back after this message. Stay tuned.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's in the village with the dark triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. So, Ray still says, the states is the states and Trini is Trini. Chalk and cheese right there. So Ray, how come when a Trini land in America and in 1 year time they speak in Yankee? How come? 1 year. 1 year time. Listen, I know people who come to the United States of America. I'm in this country 44 years, right? And one of the things I promise myself is that, yes, I will speak slowly. There are times I will speak differently, right? And I have to slow down in order for them to understand me, right? 22 years in the New York Stock Exchange, you know. However, one thing I identify with, me personally, is my accent as a Trini. I know for a fact, if that people up here 6 months, they be like, yo, man, what's happening, bro? I be like, I do, partner. You know? You be like, yo, what's happening today? I say, I going good. I good. Right? So, yeah, it's chalk and cheese. Right? But when they come in America and they're going to work, all of a sudden they're following. You just leave a hot country, 90 degrees. When the temperature drop in Trinidad, they drop from like 90 degrees to 88 degrees. Man started look for sweater, all kind of thing. Right? Right? And they come to this country, right? 10 degrees. Boy, they put on their 5 sweater, their hat, their scarf, their gloves, their footies, all kind of thing. And they're gone. You know why? It's us dollars, boy. Us dollars. Why is that?
But you know, Anslim, let me interject here. I remember when I first came here, and I would talk to people. They would say, "Oh, you Jamaican." You know, when they see us, they see Jamaican. It makes no difference. As a matter of fact, the mayor of my city formed the Caribbean Commission because he looks at everybody from the Caribbean as one people. And if he could see us as one people, why the heck we can't see ourselves as one people? So we have the commission. You understand what I'm saying? And what is it? Are we missing something here?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Pride and ego, boy. Pride and ego.
But I just get mistake for Bahamian.
But listen, in my class, right? When class starts back this semester, and I go to class, I always ask the kids. I said, "What nation?" I just say nation. What nation am I from? And I said, before anybody answer, do not say the island with a J. Everybody just laugh.
Exactly.
Because as soon as they hear the accent, the thing that comes to them is Jamaica. Right?
Well, you know much time. Yeah, you know much time. They say, "Hey, don't mess with him. He's Jamaican. He's crazy."
Yeah, as soon as they hear my accent, Jamaica. It happened when I first started
the Jamaican posse? Remember the Jamaican posse in the early days?
Of course. Of course.
They made the mafia look like a joke.
They think I'm Bahamian.
Yeah,
you see, at the end of the day, they don't know. As far as they're concerned, we are all one people. But all we doing is fighting to separate ourselves and divide ourselves.
You know what I say to them? I say, listen, don't tell me where I'm from. Ask me where I'm from.
Yep. Because look, if
you from Haiti?
If you make the mistake and tell an Asian person they're from China and they're from Korea,
Diana, listen. In my class, I had to figure out who's from where because there's a lot of Asians in the class. I don't call one from China or North Korea or any different place. I don't call one of them no other. I find out first, right? So I have a generic question. What nation are you from?
Yep.
Right? What nation are you from?
Yep.
You know, and it's much better that way.
Yeah, boy. You tell a Korean he's Chinese. Oh God!
Yeah. I think our guest is in the background. So let's bring in our guest. All right.
Mr. Stewart.
Yeah, Mr. Stewart is in the background. Let's bring him in. I mean, I know he might be listening to us here and he's saying, "Oh God, boy, them fellas and them." Mr. Stewart, welcome, sir, in the village of the dark triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And just so we know, when we say the dark triplets, that's DAG. The D is Diana. Diana is considered to be the storm. I am Anselm. A is considered to be the Flash/Wall Street. And then we have G is Gary, who is considered to be the Phantom. And then we have a fourth person who is Tommy, and we call him the outside child, and the people in the chat call him the love child. So welcome to individuals to the Dark Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Your mic is muted. Your
mic is muted.
Unmute your mic.
Let me see if I can unmute him. Could I unmute mic? Unmute mic.
Your mic is muted.
Yeah, you gotta unmute your mic.
So here we go.
There you go.
A very good
Now we
evening.
hear you.
Thank you loud and clear.
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear. Welcome.
Thank you very much, sir, for
Lovely,
accepting
lovely.
the invitation.
Yeah, on such short notice.
All right, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Yes, certainly.
Explain the format
Good
to him,
evening.
Ansel.
No,
So it's my pleasure to be with you all this evening. I hope my presence will bring something to the table or to your village.
man, we know your presence will bring something to the table. Right? So first of all, what parts of Tobago are you located in Tobago right now? Are you hearing
Yes,
me?
I'm on the island of Tobago. I'm at home in the beautiful village of 𝗹𝗶𝘀𝗲𝐿. That's the north side of Tobago.
Oh, okay. My father is from
You got
Roxborough.
that right?
Yes.
𝗹𝗶𝘀𝗀𝐿, Tobago.
Right. My father lives in Roxborough, Tobago.
My father is from Roxborough.
Yes.
What's the surname?
His name is 𝗧𝗂𝗲. His little surname is 𝗲𝗏𝘀. 𝗧𝗂𝗲. He's the owner of 𝗪𝗏𝘁𝗀𝗋 Club. 𝗲𝗏𝘀.
I used to visit that club in the day.
But now it's the night.
Oh.
So So I think one of the important things is that we are seeing what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago with respect to flooding. By the way, has Tobago experienced any sort of flooding whatsoever?
From time to time, Tobago do experience what you call flash flooding. The distinction between the both is that the water hardly ponds. If you have a high tide and let's suppose there's an obstruction in one of the major drains, then that may result into what you may describe as flash flooding. We would have seen that in Scarborough. That feature started popping up somewhere around 2001. As you know, climate change have contributed significantly to these phenomena. And therefore, we would have had our share of flash flooding, not to the extent that we experience it in the Sister Isle.
So just to be sure, TEMA is Tobago Emergency Management Agency, right?
Wonderful, you get it correct. Certainly.
Thank you. So what exactly do you do?
So the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, I am the director of the Tobago Emergency Management Agency. I have been around in a managerial position for just over 20 years or so. I joined the Tobago Emergency Management Agency back in 1999, thereabout. And I've been there for some time as a brick builder from the bottom up. So as you may know, that TEMA was once known as NEMA. Until 2005, the then Patrick Manning government decided that there was a need for a change of name. And when they changed from NEMA to ODPM, the name became awkward to us here in Tobago. And by 2008, the name was changed from NEMA to TEMA, the Tobago Emergency Management Agency. And probably I clocked it one time stating that, it must be understood that the Tobago Emergency Management Agency is part of the Tobago House of Assembly.
So we hear in Trinidad that what's going on with respect to the flooding is that global warming is having a drastic effect on the things that are happening in Trinidad and Tobago. What about the other man-made activities that are happening? You know, are man-made activities a major part of what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago today as well?
I think the man-made activity has an equal space, equal risk, equal blame, but I think the man-made activities that are not happening is what is the major problem. Adaptation has become an imperative in all of this. So you may find me very controversial when I say what is not happening against what is happening. So what it needs clinically is adaptation. Adaptation in our infrastructure, the way we build our roads, the way in which we build our canals. As you know, if you look at Port of Spain, for example, though it's so close to the sea, the streets and the areas of drainage are very aged, and therefore, on the onset of climate change, it became imperative that we do a number of things which make the adjustment to our engineering as it relates to road building, drainage, and how we deal with our open areas, slopes, so we can flip now to things that you may consider to be anthropogenics, that of the doings of human beings. So we cut our hillsides and we use them for building. If you look at Port of Spain again, it's known what you call a debris pan, meaning therefore it's low-lying, the entire structure of the topography with those hills all around it, everything drained down into the lower areas, which is the city itself. And there you have a problem of an old city. So that adjustment needs to be made, and it has never been made. So therefore, that's the reason why I said not just what human beings are doing, but what human beings are not doing that are contributing to our crisis, or, you know, as a result of global warming and climate change and climate variability.
In your capacity as the director of Trinidad and Tobago, are you allowed to make any recommendations to the government in Trinidad with respect to flooding and so on?
Certainly. Presently, I am part of a committee that has been established of a number of stakeholders, which are currently looking at disaster legislation, disaster law, as it relates to comprehensive disaster management. It has been one of the mandates set out by CDMA, the Caribbean Disaster Management Agency, which sought to foster this as early as 2002 in the region. However, based on its strategic plan, of which a number of agencies in the Caribbean has bought into, Trinidad and Tobago is part of that parcel, and I am really heartened at this stage to see that disaster legislation is now looking at every aspect of what is known as comprehensive disaster management. And if I were to expand a little bit there, I will speak to the issues that we have been talking about, which deals with what you do before, during, and after. And also, a number of these things has to do with mitigation. For example, land use policy, building codes, where you build. So it's much more than just disaster response. We have to speak to those issues, and I've been a part of those discussions, and we have been having regular meeting on a weekly basis on this matter. So we are hoping very soon. I'm hoping that this thing bear fruits, because it's not the first, nor the second, nor even the third time I'm doing this rodeo.
So, Stuart, do you remember you were there in 2018? You were in that position in 2018 for TIMA?
Yes, correct.
I made a call out. I believe I spoke to you, and you were supposed to call to me because I was trying to put some kind of disaster planning together. And in reference to when I saw the flooding took place with Brett and unorganized things. So I was trying to bring everybody together Captain Witt was in charge at the time, you know. So I have reached out to your agency, and you guys, I guess you got a little busy and didn't get a chance to get back in touch with me. But this is something I was very passionate about when I saw how unorganized we were, you know, in disaster response. But yes, we had the mayor of Port of Spain, and I was explaining to him about creating horizontal drains, you know, and diagonal drains, so that the water doesn't flow all the way down, but you have sectors. You know, when you cut the hills, you have drains running crossway, so that they're parallel, and so the water doesn't flow downhill in a rush. That there's a water break, and then you contain the water into an area where you can lead it into a water treatment plant for storage and reprocessing. So we need a structure like that, and these are the kind of things I've been discussing with them. So maybe you could share something with us about.
One of the things that disaster managers at my level will focus on is we take a very serious risk analysis and look at things as they are. You know, there's a stage for speaking about fire prevention, but also it becomes imperative that a house will burn and therefore you require a response. And so contingency planning becomes part of it. In other words, what you just described there is ideally what I was speaking about earlier in regards to if it's not comprehensive in nature, then you will have a problem with only being able to see what is the problem, but being able to make changes. You need to tool this particular dog with enough teeth that it can carry out those functions. For example, if you're talking about disaster management, the disaster offices across the Caribbean sometimes function on what you call, my grandmother will call it beg water. So you need legislation that will say, when I say come, you come, and therefore it functions that way. You want to be able to speak to the public investment policy in regards to where people build, how they build, and how they utilize the resources. Another major element in all of this, and I saw this quite in 1997. You will recall in 1997 that two major earthquakes struck Tobago. My eldest son, in my home, he grew up without going to the library. And therefore, only recently the library was rebuilt. So the recovery process based on these impact of these hazards could be very, very long-term indeed. And therefore, that must be understood, and the importance of doing what is necessary to mitigate against these actions. And it calls for very early action. It calls for legislation that will drive the process, policy matters, and the spending in those areas that will allow these changes. But it will just be ideas, and who's going to marshal it? Who's going to command it?
You know, Mr. Stewart, I don't understand something, right? I left Trinidad and Tobago about 44 years ago. And when I left Trinidad and Tobago in 1977. And I attended Calvary Roman Catholic School in Port of Spain, up Calvary Hill, right? And the East Dry River was about a stone throw away from Calvary Hill. And there were many times when there was a significant downpour of rain, the river would overflow its banks. We are in 2021, and whenever there is significant rain in Trinidad and Tobago, the East Dry River, if I didn't say the East Dry River overflow its banks. How come almost 4 decades we can't get that right?
As I said, the answer is very simple. One, if you take a look at it has to do with structure. And when I say structure, I'm not talking about the external physical environment. I'm speaking about structure of organization. For example, disaster management is nest in the Ministry of National Security. If you were to pick up your phone now and call Minister Hines and see, Minister Hines, when you go to sleep at night, what do you wake up with on your mind? he will tell you straight up crime. So you have an organization that is part of a structure that is embedded within a ministry, and in terms of the spaces on the stove, you will find if disaster management is on the stove itself, it's at the back burner. And
that's a good analogy.
That's
a great analogy. Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah, and that is natural. But what I think one of the things that I would have made a contribution to many years ago, when the then Martin Joseph, you should know Martin Joseph, that was the same time in 2005 that they sought to change the name of NEMA to ODPM. And one of the things that we saw, the success that we were having in Tobago was because TEMA, back then was NEMA, was under the office of the Chief Secretary. Now, the office of the Chief Secretary is the highest office within the Tobago House of Assembly. Similar like how you have, so the concept was to either have two things. One, either you have the disaster management office as part of the office of the Prime Minister, where it have that clout, or you make it a statutory body that you can rally the troops together and function on your own. But when you are competing within a ministry and all of them seemingly are parallel to each other, regardless of what we think, when you reach at the ministerial level, the Minister of Education and the Minister of Finance and the Minister of National Security, you have to work out who is more boss than who. But and therefore, those simple structures can make significant changes in the way, and that is just my personal opinion. It's not something official. So I work with the system, I work with the policy. The day I cannot adhere to policy is the day that I look for the push door sign, you know, but to be candidly, provide clarity to this discussion, I think, in my opinion, these are some of the areas of weakness in the disaster management structure, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but also around the Caribbean region. We have that problem.
Man, speaking truth to power there, man.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
Tell it as it is.
So go ahead, Gary. So here, what happened is that the reason why I'm asking these questions is because at one point in time, here in Canarsie, Brooklyn, there was a major, what was the hurricane again? I think there was a hurricane or a nor'easter that passed through. And a nor'easter that passed through, and many of the houses were flooded out, you know, and have to be demolished and rebuilt. And Canarsie decided to do something about flooding, whereas that they have something, they build this big structure, and when the river reaches a certain level, this structure will take water out of the river, store it in a certain location which can hold millions and millions of gallons of water. And when that river reduces, it will put that water back out into the river, thereby alleviating any sort of flood in Canarsie. And since that last nor'easter, there has been no flood in Canarsie. And I brought a few people here from the government, you know, and I showed it to them, and I said, this is a great thing to have in Trinidad and Tobago. And that was years ago. And I guess maybe that success that Canarsie had, maybe Trinidad and Tobago wasn't ready for that as yet. So,
Mr. Stewart, this is Miss Benskin. Thank you for accepting the invitation on such short notice, right? I have a question for you. I'm watching, you know, in disbelief every year the floods in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm a born Trin-Beige-Gonian. Do you think that Trinidad and Tobago is prepared for a real disaster?
While the answer to that question will be yes, I think the correct answer that you're looking for is no. So let us deal with your no.
I like that.
the area of, you see, what you call, you see, you provided the answer in the very question. You are the one that said a disaster. And a disaster, by its classification, is an event that overwhelms those who are impacted by it and the ability to respond to it. However, the reason why I said yes is that in the disaster management mechanism, not just in Tobago or Trinidad, but around the world, they cater for that. They cater for that event that will overwhelm them. It's called a level 3 incident, and therefore they rally external resources. But what is key to all of that is the mechanism that allows you to do that efficiently. For example, as it relates to SEDIMA, Trinidad and Tobago is a focal point for Tobago, Grenada, Suriname, and Guyana. The structure is set up that way. So therefore, if you have an incident that overwhelms the country, these countries come to bear. The important thing is the various sectors. When you speak about preparedness, it doesn't matter how well the disaster management system is oiled to operate. They don't operate on infinite resources. And as organized as you may wish for them to be, depending on the type of hazard that impacts the country or the islands, you will have a particular delay in response. For example, people are asked, citizens are asked to ensure that they have a family emergency plan, that they can take care of themselves for 72 hours. This is internationally accepted as what is required of every individual. So if I were to ask the same question you asked me, do you think that we are operating in an environment that every home, every school, the private sector are all prepared to take care of themselves for at least 72 hours before help comes to them? The answer is no. So therefore, you come up with contingency measures to deal with that. And there is where you have the necessity of having even external forces coming into the picture, like what is happening in Haiti today. You have these situations. But I think one of the things that we are very giving some credits is that of we have used, I don't believe in the concept, but I'm going to mention it. We have used our military, the battalion, the engineering battalion, as a major stakeholder with resource to be mobilized in these events when things go that bad or that south. And it doesn't speak well for comprehensive disaster management. And maybe it has caused us to be a little awkward in the whole management aspect in terms of what we do before the event itself. And that is what you are speaking about when you speak about drainage and hearing this concept, and you bring people to see how do you mitigate against flooding from an external or international perspective. But I'm saying that our leaders in themselves, our politicians, if I were to just go down that road, hardly ever plan beyond 5 years. And it's always short-term planning that has caused us to be where we are today. And that is a fact, outside of I remember the Manning Plan, the 2020 vision. We're in 2021 now, and that was long-term planning. It used to look a way off in the distance, but we are here. And I remember in Tobago we had what you call the comprehensive economic development plan. That, to me, these are the concepts that you need within the structures of government policy to ensure that we get things done. Outside of that, they hope that you have a response, and when something happens, we'll respond accordingly. And to me, that doesn't cut it at all for disaster risk in a modern era. One of the things that I quickly will tell anyone is that ferociously are hazards, and we have to understand that based on our civility that we chose to live on the surface of the earth, and as a result of that, we have to share this space with these hazards. They have their role to play. We have our role to play as well in the entire equilibrium of things, and therefore, it's high time that we sober up and understand that climate change is real, climate variability is also real, and therefore we have to make certain adjustments. And those adjustments begin with a particular type of leadership, and it's our structure of our way of life, that in our civility that we choose government to manage these aspects of our life, these broad gray areas. And therefore, we as citizens, I was listening to your conversation earlier on, and you tickle my pink, so to speak. You were talking about the federalism, and therefore it allows people to maintain their distinctiveness, but at the same time share one common goal, attaining their autonomy and taking care of themselves in a particular way as meaningful partnership, and it makes covenant of arrangement. That is the essence of a federal system, and therefore that level of autonomous or autonomy at the different levels of our structures of our society is even actively necessary in order for the regional corporations and these other communal or regional bodies to be able to manage disaster risks at the community level. But there is where the people live. There is where it matters most. And to me, they have to be empowered in order to take care of these things, these very broad things that you're speaking about. In terms
That was
of
the vision.
diagonal,
That was the vision.
things like that.
That was the
Yeah.
vision and the idea when I reached out to you guys and Captain Wynn. I recruited a team from Jersey City, New Jersey here. And the objective was to train the local individual in first aid response and disaster response, and kind of create an education for self-help also, and also to work with the government on the other level of training, with the engineers and higher level of training. But the game plan was to
For
prepare
tooling.
the local individual on the street to be able to respond to an emergency.
Yes. As in 2005, I had the privilege to visit the World Disaster Conference. It was held in Canada. And I walked away with a very enlightening experience, which I brought back to Trinidad and Tobago. And it was introduced in Tobago. First of all, the concept of what I learned was that of CERT, the Community Emergency Response Team. I am not sure if you're aware that Tobago has what I know in the region as the only professional CERT organization you will find in the region. That has been operating since 2005. The good news that you hear about TEMA in Tobago is as a result of our CERT program. One is that in 2003, talking about some of the concept that you just mentioned, we would have used a system called creating community emergency kits and placing them within the community strategically across the community, embedded in the community. By 2004, after we would have experienced the November severe weather, Hurricane Ivan, and in 2005, being impacted by Emily, it became very clear to us that something was missing, that voluntarism had its limits. It lacks predictiveness, especially in small communities such as ours. So therefore, it gave birth to what we now have as this professional CERT program. Back then, by 2005, we had up about 240 volunteers that were volunteering themselves. But these are young people, or those were young people that looking for employment, looking for a career, and therefore it became not predictive when something occurred in the community to find those same people. In broader cities, that model works well. So we were able to convince the Tobago House of Assembly to invest in this professional program, which required something like 5 to 6 months of training, very intense training. And I did ask you a question about tooling. Tooling is a very important thing because training these people are not being able to have the necessary tools. They become, when we're talking about disaster response, you're talking about hazards that require proper PPEs and tools that will allow them to be relevant to the type of incidents that they're responding to. And my brothers and sisters, these are some of the things that change the game for disaster management on the island of Tobago and have worked pretty well. And now other territories are looking at the model and want to implement it. So I totally agree with you with the whole concept of preparing the community. Right now, as we speak, the government, we have been able to speak with the government of Japan, and they are helping us to build or to rebuild a search center in a rural area called Speyside in Tobago. Um, Many of you, if you have Caribbean touch, if you're in touch with the Caribbean with home, you will know definitely that the East regularly is cut off in 2005, 2004. The entire east of Tobago was cut off from the rest of the island. It took us about 3 days in order to get into Charlottesville. We have build the resiliency in Charlottesville, where we have a relief center set up there with over $1 million worth of emergency supplies. So we have been doing things coming out of these bad experience. Now I know this might be a little awkward for us in the Trinidad aspect because the experience with this modern generation, they have not encountered these events. We have had these, as I mentioned, from 1963. We had Hurricane Flora. We know about Brett. We know about these storms. As I mentioned, three in a row in the November severe weather, the 2004 event, the 2005 event. So we are well exercised in understanding how we can be impacted, especially between two islands. You know how it is to get somebody to come to the Tobago. It's very difficult. And therefore, building capacity on the island became a prime priority for us. And we have sought to do that at some level. Thank you.
So,
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Mr. Stewart, there is a question from Ellis has a question. It says, Mr. Stewart, would any energy company be receiving permits to drill in the Tobago waters?
Of course, they have. They have. You're asking if they will. They have. They have cleared what you call the environmental impact assessment certification. So you have BHB Billiton. They have been allowed to do some drilling just about 64 miles northeast of Charlottesville. That is going to reach something like by the time that gas gets to the surface, it will worth about $3 trillion. So yes, there are activities. That will be taking place on the north as well. Shell has been doing some surveys with the intent to do just that. You know, the future of the gas economy is lying in the Tobago water of Trinidad and Tobago.
So back to the emergency preparation response. What I see we have here in our township is that we have volunteers that work alongside the fire department, and they would have equipment in their cars, private vehicle. They are a volunteer, and they would have a little blue light in case of emergency, that they could pop it on their car and they could respond if it emergency within their vicinity. So we always, what we do is the concept was to train teachers, police, because a lot of our police officers are not even capable of handling a first aid situation. In medical emergency, they're not trained. So I was working at the time with the MP, former MP for Komoto Manzarin, that was Miss Hussein, and she was able to get some teachers and police officers who were very interested. We just couldn't get the support from the government to move forward with the program. The politics how it plays there. But this is.
I remember that conversation. That conversation came out of New Jersey.
Yeah. I'm the guy who called you. I remember. Right. Yeah.
There is a Jamaican that lives in New Jersey who I could speak to at the flick. I'm a Zello user as well. So I spoke to him and he told me about this lady who came. I was a politician who came visiting the area, and she was given a lecture as to what can be done. So I am still waiting on that conversation, but I have not waited on the idea. The idea has started already. So we have started the process we have recruited about 30 to 40 CERT volunteers, and we are working with them. I have started the process of engaging an insurance company to assist, because one of the things that as I mentioned, what is very dear to me is that of tooling. Training people and not giving them the resources to function, you will lose them. And I know that from back in 2004, 2005, 2006. So the objective, the concept that you think that I have lent ear to it, and we have started that program. So along with our professional CERT, I have spoken to Mr. Brian Thomas, who is a CERT supervisor, and he have started the process. He also was able to liaise with the Mr. David Jerry. He has two first names, so I was get confused a bit. But that person is the man in charge of the regional disaster units in Trinidad. And
yeah, I spoke to Jerry,
and he would have helped. So he helped me with the certification of the 40-something persons. So we are working on those process, and we, as I said, as we speak, the Japanese is currently helping us with the building of along with the THA, partnered with the Tobago House of Assembly to build a CERT center in the village of Speyside. These are the infrastructure. These are the tangibles that will make or create resilience at the community level. So I really embrace your idea, and it's something that we're going to strengthen going forward.
So you guys took some action.
Feel free to communicate. And
so
yes,
Mr. Jerry, he's out of local government, right? I sent him all the information. He never come back to me. Mr. Hussein asked him to get in touch with me, but he never did. But I also was in collaboration working with Rodney Smart, who was trying to encourage him in the same direction too.
Yes, Rodney has brought a different flair to the disaster management table, and he's using his influence, and he is very open to ideas, and we have been working together on, as I told you earlier on in this interview, that the disaster legislation as it relates to comprehensive disaster management is one of those pieces that are very important in the entire construct. And therefore, he's at the table, and between CDMA and ourselves and the other entities, and have created what is called something similar to what we have in Tobago, which is called the Tobago Disaster Management Committee, which is a committee comprised of all the heads of the various agencies, and working with them, hearing their ideas, and working on various elements. They're also working on a comprehensive or a national communications plan. So there are things that are happening. For me, it's a little too slow, probably because of my age. You know, I want to see things being done a little faster before I come off the scene. But and I get very nervous about doing the same thing over and over again because, as I said, this is not my first, second, or third rodeo. We have been down this road already, and one of the major threats to all of what we do in these areas of disaster risk management is that of politics, and politics from the angle of changes of government change, and you have to start all over again. That's the nature of the beast.
Mr. Stewart, a question from Mark Daniel in the chat. He says, oh, I lost it, about aerial surveillance. Are you going to have that in the future?
It has been part of my budget for aerial surveillance is something that I got exposed to out of Delaware. And UAVs plays a very important role in conducting damage assessment. While a number of persons got hooked up on the toy drones, I never go for it. I know definitely what is needed is things that could run the distance of Tobago with proper payload, with also the necessary tools on board or equipment that can do a number of things such as infrared, sensing of the atmosphere if there is a spill, things like that. Tools that not just pictures, but also that can do measurements and things like that. And it's a little long on their list in the sense that we have not been given the clearance to make the purchases yet. But yes, drones or UAVs are very important tools, especially for maritime and surveillance in terms of national security. It will play a very important role against the use of helicopters.
So there's another question.
It says sarcasm. You want to be able to.
So there's another question, right? Someone says, Mr. Stewart, what's in place to reverse some of the damages that was done over the years? I know some injuries can be fixed, but what about those that can be treated? I'm not exactly sure what the person is talking, but I think you may know. Go ahead.
I guess they may be referring to these. I don't think they literally mean injuries nor damages. They may be referring to mending together. It is a very complex question in the sense that what we are onto is what we have to do. What we are doing now is what we have to do. But what is needed is a corridor, a protective corridor space, if you understand what I mean. That the process don't get interrupted. That you have to start over because we know what we have to do. We know what we need to get done in terms of fixing certain problems. But these things are, as I said, are interrupted because of the nature of politics. In other words, when politics get into the system, for example, a change of policy. For example, you may be aware that all the helicopters are more or less grounded at this stage. All right. So part of that would have been part of the response mechanism for the region and also for doing things like fighting fires on the hills. Now, from one party to the other, all that has changed. And aerial civilians, you hardly see it across the island of Tobago now as a result of those changes in policy. So the disruptions, how do you mitigate against those disruptions is one of our major challenges. So what we are doing is the right thing. We are on the right track, going along with the comprehensive disaster agenda. But you need a protected corridor like protected, that no one can come in and disrupt it as it move along. It's like taking your prime minister into an area where you need security clearance and all that kind of stuff. Protection. So that is how I can answer that question.
Okay. Another question is, Mr. Stewart, if I'm not mixing up the leaders, but I can remember Mr. Robertson started a Charlie character campaign. That idea should be reintroduced, especially at the primary school level.
I agree. I agree. I have spoken to one of the representatives from my area, and I told her straight up, I say, this island, the country, as a matter of fact, is too small to not to have a proper garbage management policy. There's none. There's none for the island. In other words, everybody just throw waste in a particular way. Once it can fit in a black bag, that's it. If it doesn't matter if it could fit in the bag, once it could go into a concrete bin by the side of the road, then that's it. So we need to look at debris management and waste management in a very comprehensive way, whereby we are able to do the taxonomy of these, create the different categories of garbage, waste, and refuge, so that you could have them placed properly and take care of them. So what is needed is really a management policy towards how we deal with garbage, waste.
Another question is, where are the vehicles the USA donated for floods in Trinidad and Tobago?
Where is the vehicle? What?
Vehicles that was donated for floods in Trinidad and Tobago. It's a question from the chat. I guess somebody saying that vehicles were donated for floods in Trinidad and Tobago. If you know.
Yeah, those vehicles are with the ODPM. Yeah, with the ODPM.
Okay.
And
right.
there is also some years before that the US government would have made a hefty donation of emergency heavy equipment to the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. They are under the control of the battalion that is up at just east of the Piaco. Late hour of the night, I can't remember the place.
Anselm, get your message. He's wavering. His internet is buffering. You get a message over.
So there is another question. Somebody says, whoa, now that's bad, Mr. Stewart, because if we're speaking about environmental issues, what type of tests will these companies be engaging in, sir?
Okay, that one is a little weird, but I'm talking about. I wonder if the person is linking that question to the oil exploration. If it is, then at that level, things are done properly. In other words, those people go through the rigors of getting the necessary environmental clearance to undergo these exploration. Now, if the person is speaking about waste management, inland waste management, then that's a different story. There is a management company for waste, but outside of a proper policy that allows waste to be categorized, white waste, debris of other kinds, domestic waste, we have to really look at this thing properly, because our landfills are becoming a bit wary, and therefore very soon we will have another type of issue. As you know, those of us who are acquainted with Trinidad, you know definitely where our major dump is located, one of them, and that fill is presently, whenever there is a fire at that dump, it creates an additional hazard to the rest of the city itself, which is not the best of planning. And therefore, it was void of a comprehensive type of planning. In other words, we may have learned to fly the plane while in the air, that kind of thing. We came and we meet Port of Spain there, and we just built around it. And back then, Spain may have influenced all that, and therefore we built around it. But if you were to step back and look at Trinidad as a plain plot of land, you will never put your city right where it is right now against the dump. Never. And therefore, even journeying to Port of Spain sometimes is a major challenge for commuters because of where Port of Spain is actually located as the capital. So sometimes you need to step back and look at things. But, as I said, we learned to fly this plane while it was in the air, and what it is what it is already. And therefore, as we correct things going forward, it requires for urgent planning.
So, Mr. Stewart, for every guest that comes into the village, we ask them a question. If you had to send a message to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, what would be your message to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley?
I will give him two messages, two straight messages. One is to take disaster management under his portfolio. It's that important because the way going forward, that is what it's going to be. What is happening with this pandemic is just one of the hazards that he has to treat with, and therefore it needs you need a type of vehicle with a pilot up in front. That is what is needed in regards to disaster management. I think I typed it in one whole sentence, so that's good. That would be my message to him. Bring it under his control and fly the plane from in front. Take the lead.
We want to thank you so much, Mr. Stewart, for joining us this evening. It's always a pleasure. You took this interview on very short notice. We appreciate all the information you shared with us. Any closing words before you go?
Certainly, I really appreciate what you all are doing with this medium, or what you may consider to be media. And you all must be encouraged and continue to look out for us. Sometimes sitting that far deep in the pavilion allow you to see the game better, and being able to have a voice and speaking back to us is critically important. And therefore, one of the things that I will, if I were to charge a responsibility to you guys, is to be able to influence the executive to embrace disaster risk management more. There must be a greater demonstration from the top, from government, that they are taking disaster risk management serious.
Again, so we want to thank you so very kindly, and it's a pleasure, and we hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you so very kindly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Thank you. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. A very informative discussion. It's
top of the hour.
Yeah, it's in the village with the dark triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We're gonna go for a quick station identification. Stick and stay, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
And of course, we are back with you. It's in the village with the dark triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'm trying to reach out to Deon Lendore, who was on the 4x4 Trinidad and Tobago team that made it to the finals in the World Championship. He sent him a message. He says he's an hour behind. If he doesn't come in within the next 5-10 minutes, we're going to keep it moving. We want to say a welcome to Darren Prasad. Darren, what do you know about Pastor Stewart? Darren says, how many points that man getting for his answer about the vehicle that are somewhat east of Piarco? and I don't know your partner. Ellis says $3 trillion in natural resource, people. You think any government care about environment issue with that kind of bread? Rose says when they destroy the coral reef, is no growing back. Ellis says, no, Mr. Stewart. When a company gonna drill $3 trillion, everything is put in place for them. Rose says, Ellis, do you know of anything that isn't being destroyed in this country, including the people? My dog, welcome, boy. My dog inside. Diana, my dog says, Diana, they are not here. They are my longtime virtual friends. Right?
He was speaking in acronyms. I didn't understand an emoji. Emojian.
Okay. Rose says they should. Ellis said they should, but when these companies start to drill, the seabed is totally completely destroyed. I'm not an engineer, but when these people start drilling in Tobago waters, that's sad. Boy, Tobago get trillions and billions of dollars, boy.
Hey, look how you going from trillion to billions.
Well, I'm reversing back.
Oh, God.
What is that? The government, Rose said the government should put something in place to protect the coral reefs. Loyalty inside, Patax. Loyalty says, hi, Auntie Diana.
Sarah Rebecca.
My dog said they get scared you, Diana. Sarah Rebecca, but Sarah was here before.
The guest scare me? My dog chill.
Alright, boy, you're inside, boy. Watax. Alright, welcome, boy. Welcome. I ain't see your partner yet.
So I'm slow.
Little Jack owner. I got to think he's gonna sit in this corner. Ellis says, little Jack owner sitting in the corner. Ellis says, I'm just thinking about what Mr. 𝗪𝗏𝘀𝐻 said. What these companies do to our environment. For example, if you ever take a bath in Manzanilla Beach, pothole pops up on the ocean bed. Wait, that pothole in the sea?
Speaking of 𝗪𝗏𝘀𝐻, can you show some of that footage that with the oil spill?
Yeah, I have it. I had to look for it. I have it. Because we had saved it for that exactly that night, so I gotta go in there and look for it. Hold on. Yeah, run missing in action. Alex said his phone fell and his screen mashed up.
Mash up.
Yeah, Alex was mash up.
Oh God. Holy Trinity.
Yeah, it mash up, boy. I had to go fix my phone today. You ever hear Trinidadian go and say, boy, it rain falling. I'm like, what? Rain falling? What is that one? You mean it raining? You know? They said the sun hot. What?
The sun hot. Yeah, the sun hot. But Anslim, the sun could be cold up here, you know. The sun shining and it's still cold, you know.
How the sun gonna be cold?
I have felt a cold sun.
You mean it's sunny?
It's sunny and it's cold.
Yeah.
So they're right.
My dog, good night. Yeah, I don't know. Trinidad, we's the best, you know. Nothing like us, you know. But
oh, by the way, Anslim, you giving out a prize, you know.
What prize is that?
Yeah, I was just sending some stuff there.
You giving out a prize. There's a question that's gonna be placed in the thing, and who come up with the answer first, you get out a prize.
Yeah, they'll come and run a mile with me. Sorry, I'm shaking it. Sorry. My Daniel says,
my dog says, what prize?
Answer rain falling and the sun does shine. Yeah. You gonna say the sun does shine? You see that?
Yeah.
The sun shining. You look come Ellis again. Ellis says, Ellis, Wall Street, you're thinking like a real P&M. When they drill, we don't benefit. And after we all done, the government go say we need diversity. How to diversify? My bad. Is diversity or diversify?
Diversify.
Yeah, I think it's
Diversity.
diversify. Yeah.
Diversity is different.
Or
My dog want to
diversify.
know what the prize is, Angela.
You're coming around a mile with me.
No, that's not the prize. I promise them.
What prices you want them? Me see the price with the price.
I promise them a monetary prize from you.
Oh, yeah. I know what price is that. Oh, Ellis says like how they encouraging anyone to grow food, not because the oil done.
But
oh, Gary, let me see if I had that 𝗪𝗶𝘀𝗃𝗍𝗃 in here. I think I might have it in I might still have it in here. But it just has so much of them things in them in let me see if I still have it in here. 𝗪𝗶𝘀𝗃𝗍𝗃. That the one with the oil spill, right, Gary?
Gary fall asleep.
I don't know. Gary,
There's another one. There's another one when he was out on the water. I know which one.
Yeah. Hey, Ollie, listen to this, eh?
Hello, Jamaica. Today is the 18th of August, 2021, and I'd like to confirm that the Delta variant of the COVID-19 virus is present in Jamaica based on test results that we received today. Of the 40 tests done, 22 have confirmed the Delta variant. And this represents another phase in the COVID virus in our country and the response that is necessary. Now, the truth is we had assumed that the Delta variant was here. We did say so publicly. But now that we have confirmed it, I want to reiterate to all Jamaicans the following. Firstly, the Delta variant is highly contagious. It is said to be more contagious than the other variants of the COVID-19 virus. It means that you can get it a lot easier. Persons can spread it a lot easier. Unvaccinated persons, highly at risk, particularly if you don't wear your mask, physical distance, or sanitize. Even the vaccinated can also get the virus, and therefore mask wearing should be universal and standard. We do not want to overcrowd more than we are already, our hospitals, or bring you or put you at risk. And therefore, it is so important that you recognize the importance of wearing the mask and following the protocols. Again, Delta is here, and Delta means faster spread, more contagious, easier to catch, and easier to spread. Get vaccinated, wear your mask. Let it be said that we have said, those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Please follow the protocol. Let's fight COVID together. We can overcome.
Diana, did you see the video about the Bajan woman who gone viral?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Yeah.
We were small too, and we were born in this country. I have children and grandchildren where the vaccines are mandatory. At 6 weeks, our children are vaccinated. Do we know the properties of these vaccinations? No, we don't. We don't even ask the doctors, the nurses, what it contains. But people coming in here tonight to ask learned people what the vaccines contain. And we take MMR, we take mumps, we take rubella, we take influenza, and as you rightly said, Dr. Williams, we still get sick. But we're able to fight it. And I am saying to you, be grateful. Barbados is a very small country. And today we have 48 deaths because of people's hard work. We had people that died on the front line for you and for me. This is like our God. When we crucified him, when Pilate put him out there, and the sick get him Barabbas and crucified Jesus. I'm saying to you, Barbadians, wake up. Wake up. Yes, your comments are valid. The vaccine is not mandatory, but don't be selfish either. Be responsible citizens. Be responsible. Care for each other. Because I tell them when they're vaccinated, don't come and talk to me. Because obviously, if when I got Delta, I can catch it, I can fight it. But when I can die, that's why God said tonight, stop the ignorance. Stop it. And let us be grateful for what we as a small island has achieved since we had this shutdown.
Yeah. Bajan in your thing. Yeah, the Bajan accent.
Yeah.
Ranking Bajan. Tell it like it is.
Yeah. Guys are waiting to download that.
So
Yeah. Go ahead, Gary. I want to say something.
the government has not responded to the situation. It's basically just 𝗪𝗶𝘀𝗃𝗏 and his team that's out there trying to clean up as much as they can. So when you get a chance, you'll see that the birds he had pulled out of the oil spill, all covered in the oil. And I mean, you talking about a week after that oil spill and government has not responded. So I mean, my thing is, where is the Coast Guard patrol? Where is the documentation? The Coast Guard should have picked this up.
Gary, they don't care.
The Coast Guard should have picked up this and there should be on their patrol log should be an incident report, and there's where they reported in and they make the call. So I made a public message to 𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗁 and the group, that we need his attention and we need some action from his end. So there is no response from the government from any assistance in cleaning this up. I see some training about helping themselves, but other than that, there's no response to the oil cleanup.
Yeah.
Preparedness mismanaging it.
Yeah. Hear what my dog says. My dog say I'm a runner, handsome. Yeah, you're a runner. To run your mouth.
My dog, you look for that.
That you only kind of running you the zoo.
My dog, you look for that, fella. You look for that poor thing.
Talk now. Yeah, the next one, Ellis. Wall Street chief Diana. You're not giving us cent. If you tell him bye-bye, he will tell you that you don't have any money. Laugh out loud. Ellis, how you know that?
Hey, Murray, the first time I came to America, my niece said, Uncle, let me buy you a soda. And I told her, I don't drink that, but you can buy me a sweet drink instead.
What's that sweet drink and truth, boy? Think about that now.
And sweet soap.
Yeah.
A sea drink, boy. Not a sweet drink, is a sea drink.
Yeah, a sea drink. Yeah, not a sweet drink, it's a sweet drink. Yeah. A sweet drink.
Oh, you don't make me laugh there.
Our government tell us that Trinidad and Tobago has 1,208 deaths today. My dog said, Ulrich with an emoji. My dog, I handsome. Don't let me name fool you, eh? At least I don't assume. What? You
don't let me name fool, yeah?
You not assuming nothing, my dog. My dog, what we gonna do, eh?
Maybe he put assuming.
Yeah, no, I see him. Don't think I know I see him. Let me tell him something. Here what I go do. When I come to Trinidad, me only go run 400.
Hold
and
on.
I'm going for 400. I will give you 10 meters and I will beat you by 10 meters. Watch it. I'm giving you 10 meters head start and I will beat you by 10 meters.
Ooh,
what's that?
Man.
Talk now.
I want 50 meters.
Ahead of you. Yeah, he said laugh out. That sounds like a plan. You better go and start training from now. Gary. You don't do CPR? You don't do CPR?
No, I refuse to do that.
I'm gonna need somebody to do CPR. Anybody in the chat to do CPR?
Oh shit.
Anybody?
Yeah, I just do CPR.
You don't do CPR?
Yeah, continually pronounce something. Listen, Rose say, answer, I'm not talking about the money price.
Well, what money price you talking about? Me no want to know what price is that? Yeah, my dog say he'll be training 5 times a week. Yeah, you could sit on your woman and run your mouth all day, you know. 5 times a week you doing that?
Sweetie, you rich. Oh.
Hey, Mark, I just know to pick on, you know. You think Mark, I just know to pick on, you know. Hey, Mark say, I say all that talk. Don't try that with me.
Mark and all challenging it.
Yeah, but the mean stupid. Yeah, watch. Mark have a real name. My dog have a nickname. And let me see you have a nickname, you slow. And then you have a different name, you slow.
Mark challenging Anselm too.
Yeah. Boy, I don't drink no sweet drink, you know.
Ellis say Wall Street Granny was winning you in a race.
Boy, Granny says never beat me. What's wrong with you? Ellis, you're fast out that place.
He said you pretend you fall down.
Ellis, you're fast out that place. You're out of your place. I know Granny Luces. Yeah, I run in race, and men see Granny Luces, and they say, Granny, we will see you later. And they run in a half marathon, right? 12 point something miles, right? And Granny Luces is one pace of Granny Luces, you know. When you see Granny Luces get to 8 miles, so, and then rest of fellas bun, Granny Luces coming down with she 1 speed. And she passed the fellas and they try to stay Granny Luces. And they can't go. Granny Luces, boy, God rest her soul, boy.
Yeah.
What? He have what?
You have fat to bat to 6. Yeah, I know that. My dog, the only thing you can run is your mouth, boy. I give you 10 meters and beat you by 10. Right?
You're going to beat him by 11.
No. You what I go do? I go pass $5 in the pocket and I pass him, I go take it out. But you see, I'm picking on Mark. Ellis, you know 𝗲𝗲𝘀𝗀𝗃 too, you know. Unless you 𝗲𝗲𝘀𝗃 too. But I taking my dog first. And my dog, when you come, bring cheese stick with you. Bring cheese stick. So I could make both of you. It is. I go be in lane 1. My dog, you go start in lane 2. Ellis go start in lane 3. And Run DMC go be in 4. So 2, 3, 4. Right? And when I finish, I will beat my dog, you going 10 meters in front. Right? I feel like I could beat cheese stick by about 15. And Little Jack Horner, Run DMC, I go beat him by about, it might be about 15 too.
Yeah. The challenging them, boy, Tommy.
Yeah.
Me, I ain't getting involved in that.
No. Them fellas, all they want to come, my dog, start training from today. I'm telling you. Start training. I will send a video tape of you me training for your my dog. So maybe you could try to steal some of my ideas from me. You understand?
Well, Ulrich Murray in on it too. Shit.
Ulrich, see? Yeah. Who else in there? But Ellis come but Granny shame me. Ellis, what's wrong with you?
Wait. Mark Daniel say he go start last.
You go start last? Nah, Mark. You give me a lead? What's wrong with you? Ellis admit it, eh? Ellis say he can't run. Ellis, you see, you're keeping your street of power, right? You're not like my dog and them, you know?
Mark Daniel say he go start last.
What CV say? I was on Library Facts. Or let's say you only whistle. No. We had to go with them whistle. You want to whistle for them fellas and them? I want one of them real kind of gun. Or if you get some tuna from. I want to scare my dog 𝗲𝗃 and run DMC.
Oh Lord,
because what's that?
Father.
The reason why I'm not having them fun, they could think they're running from a fella from 𝗲𝗃𝗀𝐻𝗃. You understand? Yeah. They could think
Oh God.
they could think they're running from a fella from 𝗲𝗃𝗀𝐻𝗃. That's why. What he said? He said, some have a walk the race and cover all your talk. Don't worry. Competition for it, don't worry. We go sign a petition in the end. Yeah, sign a petition. Wrong with you? Petition me? What do you sign a petition for?
But the way the challenge I like Mark Daniels say he go start last. You hear
what start last? Yeah. Well, Mark, if you start last, you go beat my dog, you go beat 𝗲𝗃, you go beat Run, so you go finish second.
Oh God.
Yeah, you go finish second. Oh yeah, all you notice people staying in the place, the only people is my dog. Ellis don't stay in the place. Ellis say I can't run. Ellis admit it. Right? What Mark Daniels say? Everybody getting to leave in the first 3 minutes.
Everybody getting leave in the first 3 minutes.
Oh, leave in the first 3 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Ellis, Mark, you're getting kind of cocky now, you know. But yeah, all the people in Tobago could run though, you know. Serious, you know. That's some real runners out at Tobago, buddy.
I was a hockey player. That was my thing.
That's a sport?
Excuse you? Excuse you? Huh. You know, your ankles I bashed, you know.
Oh Lord.
My dog say, I won't even enter the race. I go give Ansem the win because you know I slick like cheese. You see them backing down already, you see? You see backing down already, you see? I tell you, you know, I just figure them out from far, you know.
Diana, did you ever reach out to the Minister of Local Government and he sent you the number?
No, I didn't.
Who's that, Kazim Hussain?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I was dealing with my air condition man all day, dealing with these vents and stuff.
Wait now. You have an air condition man too?
That came here to fear the air condition.
Okay.
All the like bacchanal.
But you said you have an air condition man. That's what you said.
Dealing with my air condition in my home.
I apologize. I misunderstood.
No. Your Balize wax in your ears. You like bacchanal. That's what it is.
I misunderstood.
Sure. But here how I end up in hockey. They put me in netball, right? So when we go on to play them girls from Tranquil and all them city school, them like to pelt the ball and hit me in my chest and thing and elbow me and fight break out, right?
Did I spell the ball in netball?
Yeah, them girls used to like to.
Oh, you go pelt that big ball, Diana?
Well, them girls, you know, so when they pelt the ball and hit Diana, you know, fight breaking out. So they say, you know, you don't play no netball, we putting you in hockey. That's the safest sport to put the Storm in. But when they play anything now, I find the girl and them, they tripping me when I run in. I say, hey, all they tripping me. I used to bash a lot of ankles.
You see, you was wicked.
Well, why they tripping me when I fall in?
No, the stick is not to hit people ankles, it's hit the ball.
Well, if you trip me when I fall out of bash, yeah.
No.
So they move, wait, watch me. So they move me off the field and make me the goalkeeper. That was the safest position.
Yeah, my daughter played hockey too, Yeah. Always I run so much from police, I feel I could beat everybody. You're my dog back in them again. You're my dog now. And some might be a water ball and still enter the race and win them. Why?
Lord.
Look, Ellis. Ellis. Wall Street, my brother. You're sounding like a real Trinity tonight. But how come you're not talking like a Yankee tonight? When I just be talking like a Yankee?
Sometimes it slips out. It slips out, Ellis. Sometimes I just sound like a Yankee. Sometimes I sound like a Bajan. Sometimes I sound like a Trini. It slips out. It slips out. Yeah, depends on where you are and what you're saying. You do, son. You do.
Read my document.
And so to ensure my victory, I will have Diana running me down in that race. So I will run. Excuse you, my dog. What are you trying to say? Huh? I'm gonna run you down with the coquille broom.
Yeah. Rose, you see, look who Rose bringing to the free. Look who Rose bringing to the free.
Oh no! Oh Rose, you running from Rowley? Lord, Tommy, these people. Tommy, I done with it. I done with them in the chat. I done. The one said he running from me. He running from me. But he feared the broom.
Hey, tell Cheese stick and run and Wallafield nuts and run DMC. Tell them we say hello. But you know, who's the runner in the group? I feel it's Mark, Mark Daniel. I
know about I know about that. I think he could run. I don't know if he could run. I don't know if he could run now because he got last on his foot the other day. So.
Oh, you don't think he'll run now? Oh, you know what, Dana? That's a good idea. I can have him go and play hockey with you.
No?
And you hit him on the ankle.
Yeah, no, but to stop the fight breaking out in the on the fields, they made me the goalkeeper. So no fight can break up.
Oh, let me quickly do this. Let me see what we have here in stock. Let me see what we have here. We have the Delta. Let's see that tree falling. They have a new grandparents program. We see that. Let me see something. We state of emergency. Government seek to extend state of emergency by 3 months. Right? Oh, let's see that. Well, I mean, I think they're going to extend it, right?
For what reason?
Huh?
For what reason?
Because they feel like the Delta variant is in Trinidad.
After that, it's going to be something else.
Well, I mean, might be the Pan Am variant.
And the JetBlue variant.
Yeah, then the JetBlue variant. And then the BV variant.
But BV dead.
No, they could go to the BOAC variant.
All kind of.
It's all kind of variant to go with.
Father God. I don't know.
Honestly, one-shot vaccine coming to Trinidad. We get 108.
They get Johnson. They get J&J.
Yeah, so all your who intakes in a farm, all you have J&J now, So nobody can complain. All right? We in a gear, boy. We in a gear.
And I took it, and it's good. It didn't have minimal side effects.
Only see one with this guy, boy. You're flooding in Trinidad. It's ain't easy, you know, boy.
Not gonna get better.
Yeah, boy. We gotta do things better. All right, let me just get 1 or 2 little videos here, and then we get ready to go. This is this flooding in Trinidad. We want to show. Hold up. I'm gonna remove.
People that start buying boats now.
Boy, you think it's easy, boy? We had to really seriously address the flooding in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? Really and truly, man. We just can't continue down that way, man. You know what I mean? Look at this, man. Nice house, and look at this house. Beautiful, eh? Look, nice house and thing, you know, boy.
I said, let's invest in a boat building company, a small boat building company.
Boy, we might as well do that, you know. And the water kind of brownish, you know, boy.
Brown, boy.
Yeah,
and you know what my fear is? We're swimming inside our water.
Well, yeah, boy. That's the thing, you know. Where that water coming from? Right? That ain't no joking. But this one kind of got me, eh? This video here kind of got to me, eh? This woman was very emotional.
I'm married and living here over 20 years, and I've gone through the problem since day one.
Okay, so tell me about the events leading up to this massive flood.
This massive flood, well, I get entirely water in the whole house, in the back.
Is it normally this big?
No, it was bigger than this. The 2018 was bigger than this.
Okay, so to tell me now what time the water started to rise, what loss, what you were able to salvage, because I've seen a lot, your furniture high up, your TV high up. So tell me about it.
I salvaged most of all my things, you can see.
Okay.
I salvaged most of my things, I tried to save most of my things. I know we're not getting no compensation for nothing, so I decided to raise my things. Last year, 2018, I lost most of my things. Partly everything I lost. 2018.
Okay. Alright, so let me talk to you a little bit.
Yeah.
Mums, give me your name and how you feel about this flood.
My name is Gailey Dennis. I'm disappointed because I think the government had to do a lot more about the Caroni River to clean it and have it drench it out, make it more wider. So they are coming and people home.
Okay. So I just noticed that you were crying while you were speaking to me. Tell me what brought on the emotions.
It's so sad to do. You have to go through this now to clean up and do all those things. And I know we won't get anything because we save everything. But it's just sad to know we have to go through.
So this is traumatic for you then? It's a traumatic experience. What time did the water start rising here? And what were your initial thoughts when the rain started to fall?
Yesterday, whole day the rain was falling. I was praying and said, God, please don't let this happen, because I was saying we got orange alert. And I was just praying, but 4:30 around the water started to come and I didn't believe it still. And
yeah, but you had to do something, boy. Something had to be done. And this is the last one here. The thing I be scared about is what when that water recedes, what is going to bring, boy? What all kind of animals going up in these people's house?
So this is just a preview of things to come. Because at the end of the day, we have to prepare for worse than that. Global warming is a real phenomenon. It's not a joke, not a hoax. Immediate solutions.
Something had to be done, man. Something had to be done, and we just can't continue.
Let's ask them when last they cleaned the river or the rivers. When last they dredge it, you know. I mean, it's common sense what you have to do. You know, I mean...
Take it easy, man.
Can I say? I mean...
Yeah, so maybe a few comments here. Let me go in, and then we out of here. And some, my dog say I'm a cricketer, and I spelt mango in real life. What cricketer? You must even pelt. You must even bowl, man. You must instant Jumadine. You know, Only know Inshan Jumadin.
Maybe we should invite Rohanson and boy since you know him.
Nah, guy, you call him now. Send him a message now.
Yeah, that's Saturday.
Since Rohan was by your house.
Yeah. You might remember that.
You remember house?
You remember that?
Yeah.
You know. Marduk said extending the SOE doesn't make sense. Cases still here and nothing changing. Vaccination are accelerating and more lockdowns. Is this an excuse to squander more money? PM answer us. Marduk, what we go do, Marduk? We go, oh, you know what we should do? You know what we should do, Diana? Seriously, we should have a special segment maybe once a week. We have to do the guest host from the people in the chat, right? We have to start that up. Maybe we could do once a week a message to the Prime Minister from someone in the chat, and they could come on at the last minute of the program, but it had to be clean though. Right? And they could send a message to the Prime Minister, or you could send a message to your MP. One or the other. You could send a message to your Prime Minister, or you send a message to your MP.
But answer, you could have them tape it and WhatsApp it to you.
Oh, yeah, Gary. Cool. We can do that too.
Some people are shy, you know, to be live.
Yeah. My dog and Ron and Wolverine and them. Them go want to come like nothing, man. Or let's say I traveling in a taxi tonight and it was full to the brim. Everybody fighting to beat the curfew.
No social distancing.
Yeah. My dog, good night, my friend. Alice says, Rose says, I'm making some fries at present. Petal, cut the meat out and give me the bone, so I'm still hungry. Yeah, Diana, I could, but I didn't see none of the leaders down there when it happened in Maraval a few weeks ago. Remember how many officials were in Port-au-Prince? Hey, Darren, I know it was Rafik Jumadin and Inshan Ali. I was just making a joke. Because Inshan Ali and Rafik Jumadin is from my times when I used to go and watch cricket in the Oval. And them fellas used to play for Presal. I think Rafik Jumadin and Inshan Ali used to play for Presal way back in the day. A big follower cricketer back in the day. And I was very happy when Rafik Jumadin and Inshan Ali make the West Indies team. Oh, Ellis says Wall Street. When it happened in Maraval, all the big boys were out. In Maraval, yeah, that's true, you know. Oh, yeah, that makes sense there, you know.
Stewart Young, yep.
Yeah, but all of them was outside, boy. Good, yeah. Correct is right, boy. Yeah, when it had flood, yeah, boy. Kamala on she boots and she was walking all the way, boy. No joke, you know. All right, so tonight, tonight, you get, boy.
Two most recent. 3G.
Anyway, I gotta say a quick good night because I'm still out here doing some stuff. So good night, everybody.
All right, guys. Say your goodbye before you go now.
Yeah. That's all. Thank everyone for joining us, and thank also Mr. Stewart for joining us. I'd like to catch up with him another time. And with that, I will say good night. It was fun.
Okay, cool. Thank you. CV, put the closing quote. Put your closing comments in the quote. CV and who?
Look for two that are still there recent. Don't go in the back. Some of them left.
Yeah, CV still there though.
All right, that's what I'm saying.
Did Darren Prasad ever do anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I've Darren. Excuse me. I've Ellis. CV and who? Oh, okay. I get it. Rose and CV. Can you put your closing comments? Please put in closing comments. Rose and CV, if you're still there. Rose and CV, put your closing comments in the comment box, please. So, folks, Frederick Douglass says, It's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Let me repeat that. Frederick Douglass says it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. From where I sit, this is it. The clock on the wall said that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent. When talent does not work hard, and for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. Tommy?
Yes, Lawrence Stern says, respect for ourselves guide our morals. Respect for others guide our manners. Also, blessed are the heart that can bend, they shall never be broken. That's by 𝗪𝗵𝘀𝗻𝐻. Pleasant good night, and it's been a pleasure being in the village. See you guys on the next session.
Yeah, Ulrich, thanks for reminding us. We're not going to forget about, don't forget the program on the Wall Street investment. We're going to do that. We're absolutely going to do that. Albert Montana says none of these PMs live in the flood-prone areas, and many middle-class families live in areas where there are never any flooding. Where, Diana?
Okay, on the heels of Mr. Stewart, our guest, and the gist of the entire conversation tonight, I decided I'm going to do a message to heads of state of the Caribbean pertaining to global warming. Throughout its existence, the earth has warmed and cooled time and time again. But in the past century, another force has started to influence the earth's climate: humanity. Global warming has seen an unusually rapid increase in the Earth's average surface temperature over the past century. The global average surface temperature rose 0.6 to 0.9 degrees Celsius between 1906 and 2005, and the rate of temperature increase has nearly doubled in the last 50 years. Scientists have predicted that temperatures are certain to go up further. Al Gore delivered the speech on global warming in Norway, Oslo, on December 10th, 2007. He emphasized on how global warming affected society and made suggestions on the steps that people need to take to end the menace. He said that pollution is a key contributor to global warming, and if we do not take steps to or slow down global warming soon enough, we will be facing serious consequences eventually. The Caribbean is one of the most beautiful places on earth. However, it is also one of the most badly hit by the rise of global warming. Global warming is affecting the smaller islands and low-lying areas in the Caribbean, which are drastically being affected by increasing carbon dioxide, rising sea levels, and other consequences as well. The sudden climate changes in the region are leading to adverse effects on the Caribbean: charming beaches, coral reefs, orchards, marine life, hurricanes, and storms. Frequent floodings have become a more common thing as of late due to the drastic change in weather. Scientists predict that the regions around the equator will be the worst hit. Changes in the hydro cycle and rainfall patterns will harm the agriculture of this area, as both the short supply and floods have serious repercussions. Some parts of the Caribbean have already started merging with the ocean, and there are predictions that more land will be destroyed in the coming years, including total diminishing of the smaller islands. How will climate change impact the Caribbean trade, business, and environment? Caribbean businesses, especially those that are agriculture and tourism related, are highly susceptible to the potential positive and negative impacts of climate change. Likely negative impacts are increased infestation, crop damage, soil erosion, increased moisture problems. The tourism industry cannot sustain itself without a healthy environment. As a region, it is imperative that priority be given to the maintenance and preservation of the environment. Every individual, household, business, community, and government in the Caribbean region needs to adhere to the urgent appeal to mitigate the potential impacts of climate change. A joint regional collaborative effort between heads of state is immediately needed. The success of future generations depend on how the region responds to the issue of climate change impact on trade, business, and the environment. The time for action is now. The future of the Caribbean civilization is at stake. This is 𝗪𝗏𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗁, aka The Storm, bidding you auf Wiedersehen until we meet again. Good night, my beloved people.
And there you have it. So in the closing comments of Rose, Rose says, I feel like singing tonight. My song is Run Till I Die. Run Till I Die. Ansem didn't pay me, and that's the reason why. Good night, everyone. Stay safe. Until next time, be safe and come to class. CV's quote says, my quote remains the same. When the righteous increase, the people rejoice. When the wicked rule, the people groan. This is from biblical to today. Thank you so very kindly all, and see you all. And everyone, again, we thank you all so very kindly for joining us. See you all. Same WZYE time, same WZYE channel. Later, we're gonna go out tonight with let's go tonight with this one. Where's this guy? There we go, Ember.
Help! Somebody help me! I'm looking for Jacka. Boy, I try to go around the country. I don't know what to do again. Looking to buy a donkey to sell coconut in town. Can't afford to buy a pickup to tote me nuts around. So I gone up in the country looking for jackets to buy. But everybody I check, they keep on telling me. They say up here do a donkey, aliment a plenty. Up here do a donkey, aliment a plenty. If you want to see real donkey, aliment a plenty. If you want to find real donkey, aliment a plenty. Donkey for sewing day, donkey for sewing day, donkey for sewing day, donkey for sewing day, donkey with PhD, doctorate, law degree, donkey that dance for sew, don't know from head to toe, looking for a donkey. You want to find real donkey? Fat donkey, maga donkey, any kind you can get it. Oh, you I went down south in Rancho and also Lopino. Fight of Mondo Nevo and Brasso Seco. They say it have a old man, he bound to have a few. But when I check the old man, he and all same too. He say up here do a donkey, parliament a plenty. Up here do a donkey, parliament a plenty. If you want to see real donkey, parliament a plenty. If you want to find real donkey, parliament a plenty. Donkey for sewing day, donkey for sewing day, donkey for sewing day, donkey for sewing day, donkey with weave and rats, even bald head jackets, donkey that straight and gay, donkey that bold and grey, looking for a donkey. you're looking for a donkey. I know Chinese donkey. I know what black donkey, grey donkey. What are you telling me about? Oh yeah. Hey yeah. Oh yeah. I wonder if Arena happen. They say that donkey looking like Saddam and some looking like Madam. Long time had plenty donkey all over the country. You coulda buy 2 or 3, easy. But since it have a shortage of jackass, so they say, just wait until election when they come out to pray. Up here do a donkey, parliament a plenty. Up here do a donkey, parliament a plenty. If you're looking for a donkey, parliament a plenty. If you want to see real donkey, parliament a plenty. Donkey for sewing day, donkey for sewing day, donkey for sewing day, donkey for sewing day. Donkey in suit and tie, who love the mama guy. Drunk and corrupt donkey, that like to lie plenty. Looking for a donkey. You want to find red dung in right road. Oh boy, you have to have national pride. Up in the red house now. They're going back up there.